Okay. That's all we're doing in chapter 16 right now. Does everybody understand dot equals 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 and how to tokenize something? It's real simple. Okay? Pretty easy. Okay? Let's move to files. Now I know y'all covered some files, but I don't think a review would hurt a little bit. And there's things we need to learn about files that aren't in the book, the way I want you to do things. Okay? So let's come over here. All righty. Get my file stuff. I have to have my own notes as well, or I won't remember anything myself. Okay? Now, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read and write text files. Have y'all done text files, or did you do serve files? Did you do any files? I thought y'all did some files.
Kind of went like we were talking about files.
Okay, it doesn't matter. We're going to do it now. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is text files. Okay? Text files are the kinds of files you can double click, it opens up, and you can read them. Okay? Now, files in Java are basically either byte stream files, which mean bytes, zeros, ones, all that kind of stuff.
Pure data, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Or you can do characters. That's what we're working on right now is character-based ones. Okay? And to do character-based ones, we're going to use very familiar stuff. We're going to use Scanner, okay, to read in our files. And we use Scanner lots of times for reading in input from the keyboard, okay? And we're going to use Formatter to write our files, all right? Now, when you read Chapter 17, don't get all embroiled in all of these input streams, output streams, and wrappers, and blah, 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 and all this stuff they do right up front in the first 2 or 3 pages. Skip right on over that and do this, okay? Until you really start to work with files and learn to do 1 or 2 things with them, reading all that other stuff isn't going to help you anyway, okay? And we'll learn some about that. All right, so we're going to come in. All right. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read a file. So I'm going to need Scanner. Okay, so I can go on and declare my input, okay? And I'm just going to declare a variable called word so I can hold what I read. It's just going to take in what I read, okay? Now, if you remember our conversation about exceptions, there's 2 basic groups under runtime exception, okay? You have the runtime exception ones, I should say under exception. You have the runtime exception ones. Those are unchecked. So you can write code and don't ever have to worry about those kinds of exceptions. I/O exceptions are checked exceptions. You cannot write any file I/O unless you do a try-catch around it, period. Okay? It won't compile. The reason is because a lot of errors come up when you're trying to do files, and that has to be caught and handled. So anytime you want to work with files, you're going to have try-catch. Okay? So we'll come in, set up your scanner. It's going to be a new file. We'll create a file words.txt. Okay? And just associate it with the scanner that you're going to read in from this file. Now, typically for this, we've seen where we would just say system.in, which represents the keyboard, but now we want to do a file. All right? I typically do while input has next. In other words, while there's stuff in the file. Okay? I'm going to put one thing on the line in our file, so I'm going to read a whole line at a time. Okay? And all I'm really going to do is just print it out at the prompt, just to show you that it did get the information. Okay? And then your catch, I/O exception. Now, y'all have a handle on try-catches and exceptions, right? Okay. typically, when you say that you're gonna have an exception type, I typically use the initials of that exception type. Kind of standard, a lot of Java programmers do it. You can call it anything you want, but it just helps me remember, oh, IOE, oh yeah, input output exception, IO exception type stuff, okay? Everybody remembers print stack trace. It just prints everything that could possibly come up when the exception occurs, okay? All right, so let's save as, see if we missed anything.
It won't work.
Pardon?
You forgot to put parentheses after hash.
After,
Has
oh,
text.
yeah, there we go. Gotta get those extra ones in there. Okay. Oh, I misspelled file up here, should be a big F, that's cool. Now, I'm gonna go and create my file real quick. So I'm just gonna open up Notepad. Now, I said I was gonna create it with 1 word per line, so now is the time for all good men. Okay? And I called it words. So I'm gonna say words. Now, this is a text file, so don't turn it into Java. Okay? So if I look, I have a words.txt file. All right. You can make it any word you want, as long as they're 1 per line. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to read file. Okay? Oh, did I misspell it again? Words.txt.
You misspelled the file. Text file.
Oh,
Put rods.
oh, boy, I sure did. Rename. Words, there we go. Now let's try it. Cool, that's what we expected, okay? So I read it in, and I just splatted it out of the system prompt, okay? And for homework number 2, that's how we're gonna read in our data. We're gonna use Scanner, it's real easy, but we have a couple of extra things to learn, okay? Let's write file. So let's open another one up. Let's come over here. All right. And on that one, we're going to use util.formatter. Okay? We use scanner for input, formatter for output. Okay? All right. Import java.io star. Okay? All righty. Public class file. And we basically go through the same old process, okay? Formatter, output. Okay, and then I'll say output, try. Output equal new formatter. Okay? And I'm just gonna call this data out.txt. That's the file I'm gonna create. All right. Now, when you use the formatter, it works like a format statement, printf or string.format. So you have to give the format that you want it to look like in the file, and then you give everything you want to write in the file. Okay? So we'll say, for example, what are we going to write in this file? We'll do name, city, and a double, some money, how much they owe or whatever in their account or something. All right, so the first one, output.format, okay? And we're going to do a format, and I said I would do a name, a city, and a number. Okay, so that's what we're going to put in there, and I have to come up with the format for all of that. Okay, well that's pretty easy. Jones would be %S, and I'll put a space there between everything. Arlington would be %S, I put a space between everything, and this will be 0.2F. Okay. Remember in the format output if I have 3 things listed here, I need 3 things that have percents with them. Okay? So this matches Dones, that matches Arlington, and that matches the 500. So let's just do a couple of more so we have something in the file. They're all going to be the same, so I'm going to copy this first piece and reuse it. And we'll do Smith. Dallas, 225.25. Another one, and we'll do Willis, Fort Worth, $1,200, who knows? Okay. Pardon?
You forgot some quote, March on 1200. Oh no, just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay. Okay. So, let's see what we end up with if we save this and try this. Save as. Okay, let's give it a whirl. All right. Well, there is a data out.txt, but doesn't have anything in it. So if I open it up, it's blank. When you are writing files, you must always, always, always close the file. Until you close it, you're not going to get anything. Okay?
You knew that was coming, did you? So that's why you left the line space there?
Yeah, pretty much.
I was wondering why you had a little bit different on your formatting.
Let me recompile it. Let's do that. Let's see what we get now. Now it's text, so I should be able to open it up. Okay, I got stuff there, but now it's all on one line. Okay. This is a peculiarity to Windows. Okay. It will, if I decide to read it and I read it like string, and money, it'll read okay. Okay, it won't make any difference to the effectiveness of the code that you're writing to read and write it. Okay. It just doesn't look very nice to try to open up the file and see what's there. Okay. On some systems, it will turn out just like it is on separate lines, like we wrote it. But to force it, and this is what I recommend, you should come in here, and you know how you do a new line, \n? On files, it is %n. That will force it to come down. Okay, let's see what happens now. Let's open it. Oops. Had it open to begin with. Let's open it and see what. And now it looks real neat and nice. Okay?
Can you put back the other one?
Sure.
Sorry.
Okay. You have now learned to read and write text files. Big book. Okay? We're just going to use scanner and formatter. Now, what is interesting, if I choose to write a program to read this, okay? Like I had before, I just read in a line, okay? Or I can read in one thing at a time, like I do here, string, number, okay? Look at the file. Here it is. Let's say that I read it in string, number. Okay, it'll read Jones, Arlington number, Smith, Dallas number, Willis, Fort, and then it bombs because Worth is not a number. Okay? Does everybody see what I'm saying? You put spaces in there, but you turn around and read it, and you haven't accounted for this some way, you're in trouble.
It sees four, but it's.
Correct.
Correct.
It
just
sees
know
four
what to do with
things,
the rest of it.
and there's really should be three things, that's right. Okay? So when you write your files, okay, what we're gonna do is we are going to put delimiters between each piece of data. And we're gonna use a semicolon. And close this in. Now if I look at it, I have a semicolon in the right place, so I have three pieces of information on each line. Alrighty. Now what I can do is I can read in an entire line of text, tokenize the line, and break it up into its three pieces. Remember the tokenizer we just did?
Because you're gonna use it to tokenize all
That's
the
right.
semicolons.
That's right. You got it. Okay? The trick, of course, is when I tokenize it, it tokenizes it as strings, right? So the first two are okay, but when I get to the third one, I have to do what to turn it into money? Double, parse double, right? Remember all of that from way back when? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. All right. Let's go look at our read file. Let's modify our read file. So we're gonna read data in, what did I say? It was data out. We're gonna read data out, okay? And what we're gonna do, we're gonna read a whole line, okay? I'm not gonna print it out because let's wait till we get to the good stuff, okay? I'm gonna read the whole line, and then I'm gonna parse it into its various pieces. So what I will do then is I need an array. Okay, come down here, token array equals word dot split.